Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on. The name is kind of weird and it's kind of long, but this is the Converse All-Star BB Trilliant CX. So this is Converse's brand new hoop shoe and it retails for 120 bucks. So if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave the affiliate link in the description box. The design of this actual upper is inspired by a poison dart frog, which I think is pretty cool. And there's this colorway and there's also like a green, very bright green colorway available as well. So again, links will be in the description box. But let's get it started right off with the tracciones, and the traction pattern kind of reminds me of the BB Shift. You guys remember that shoe, right? We have an all black solid rubber outsole and we have lines, right? And we have lines going throughout the entire outsole, and they kind of intersect each other into these smaller lines, and here in the heel and also in the midfoot, like the lines kind of curve a little bit, right? And also here in the forefoot, where the ball of your foot is, it says Air Zoom with a little bit of herringbone. And how does the traction feel so far? The traction feels very nice, right? It has a nice little bite on my wood floors, and also has a nice little squeak as well. So right now it feels pretty good. It doesn't feel like top tier or anything, but it does feel pretty good so far. Converse actually hasn't been amazing for me in the past couple of models, right? The BB Shift was all right, and then the other shoe that was super bulky as well, I forgot what that shoe was called, which also kind of reminds me of this pattern as well. The traction wasn't absolutely amazing, you know what I mean? It does feel a little bit better in the Trilliants, right? As far as the durability goes, the durability doesn't seem like it's going to be very good because the grooves are pretty thin, right? And also the rubber is kind of soft. I guess there are a lot of grooves, however, and also where the ball of your foot is, which is kind of like where the high wear area is, that is like, the rubber is pretty hard there, right? So I guess it'll be okay, but it doesn't feel like it'll be the best, or actually like really good on an outdoor court, so just be careful on that. And I guess dust, I am a little bit worried about, but it does seem pretty well spaced apart as far as the intersecting lines go. So it probably won't pick up dust like crazy, but the traction right now is feeling pretty good so far. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, it does feel pretty smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have a crazy curve shape and also pretty much fully exposed CX foam, which I do like. And also here in the forefoot, we have a very curved shape as well. And a lot of forefoot flex, right? So much forefoot flex, but also in the midfoot. I don't know what's up with Nike, right? So I don't know if you guys didn't know, but Nike owns Converse. That's why they're using Zoom. But yeah, in the Sabrina one and also the GT Hustle 2, they don't really have a midfoot shank plate, or it's just like not being utilized correctly, right? So yeah, there's a lot of forefoot flex. So torsion support obviously is not gonna be very good here in this shoe, but overall heel to toe transition does feel pretty dang smooth, which I do like. Like the overall shape feels great, and it's a very flexible sole, right? So there's that. Moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup feels pretty nice, right? So we have full length CX foam, right? And CX foam, it hasn't been amazing in my personal like experience. I feel like they've been caging it a lot or making it a lot stiffer. I also like in their regular shoes, I believe they use CX foam in one of their like chucks, right? It wasn't that comfortable, but here it's actually pretty soft. You know, there is a good amount of compression. I can like press it with my finger and it's pretty soft, and there is pretty nice compression here in the heel, but the cord feels really nice. So you can see how thin the foam is. So you're pretty much right on top of the ground, which I do like. So the heel and also the overall foam feels nice so far. And also we have a forefoot zoom in it in a really weird place, right? So we can see that, you know, I'm guessing this is the shape of the Zoom bag, because when I put it on, I can pretty much feel the Zoom like on the ball of my foot, right? On the medial side of my foot, and not really anything on the lateral side, like on the outside of the shoe. So I can feel it pretty much here, and it feels like it's top loaded. There is a nice little bounce, nice little compression as well. It's nothing crazy. And it does feel like more like the old school, like shoe feel, you know what I mean? Like in the KD3s, like I'm playing the KD3s and the Zoom unit is pretty stiff, but all the shoes that I've been playing in like recently, or like the more modern shoes that came out this year, like the Zoom Freak 5, the Sabrina 1, the Jaw ones, those are all top loaded forefoot Zoom units, and those are a lot easier to feel. So this has a little bit more of the old school Zoom feel, especially just like it's more targeted as well, but it does feel kind of nice, you know what I mean? And also the insole's like just a regular Ortholite foam insole, you know, nothing amazing, but it does improve the step and comfort a little bit. And then also underneath that, we have like a pretty nice kind of strobo board. It's like a foamier strobo board, so that feels pretty nice as well for step and comfort. But overall, I mean, this cushioning setup is more for guards. I mean, the shoe is made more for guards, right? So it has pretty good court feel. The foam is actually quite soft, which feels nice, but nothing amazing, you know? Not a lot of compression, but it's still kind of soft. And then we have that targeted forefoot zoom in it. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something crazy, this is not it. You know, if you're just looking for something like a lot of bounce, with a lot of compression, something super duper comfortable, then obviously this is not it. The shoe is made more for like guards. You know, something like guards would want a little bit more responsive. You know what I mean? Something that feels a little bit quicker, which I like so far right now. So the cushioning style is pretty nice, right? And now moving on to the upper, so we have kind of like a textile material, right? It's made of polyester, it says. And it's super duper nice. It reminds me of jacquard actually, right? So it's a really soft upper. It conforms to my foot extremely well. There's no pinching or anything. And overall, it is on the thinner side of things, but it's not super thin like a mesh material, right? But like I said, like the quality also is really nice. You know, it doesn't feel cheap at all. So it feels great here in the forefoot. It stays the exact same material here in the midfoot. And obviously we can see this lace cover, which is, I don't know guys, right? This is why I brought this shoe out, which is the KT5. It reminds you a lot of the KT5. You guys remember this? But the KT5, it wasn't removable. You had to have this freaking thing on, right? So it was easier to lace up because you can just flip it down like this, right? And then lace it up and then put the shroud over it and you have Velcro, right? A lot easier to use. Here in the Trilliants, you know, you have like these little hooks, right? You have these little hooks on the shroud cover, and then you lace it up. Right, so you gotta take it off, lace it up, and then you have like, there's a little strap here as well with some Velcro. So there is a connection point right here, right? And then you hook it up to basically like these flywire cables, and you have this like string which is kind of stretchy, and it doesn't do anything. It's basically just a lace cover. It's basically just for looks, basically for design. It doesn't really do anything functional. It doesn't improve lockdown. I guess it does make the overall feel a little bit bulkier as well for the shoe. So I'll probably just play in the shoe without the lace cover because it doesn't really do anything, right? I guess if you do like the overall cleaner look of it, but I don't know, this looks better. It just looks like a regular shoe, you know what I mean? But anyways, so we have the regular laces, and then the eyelets are just kind of like this strap, and the straps are kind of like stitched to the upper as well, right? And then for the tongue, we have like an average amount of padding. It is pretty foamy, so that does feel pretty nice and cozy on top of your foot. It's also like an independent tongue, which is pretty interesting, right? So hopefully the tongue doesn't like move around when you're playing it, and also hopefully it doesn't like flip over on itself, which independent tongues do. And I'm playing in the, I believe it was the KD3s. The KD3s are like, it kind of flips over on itself as well because it is an independent style tongue, which is more like an old school type of design. More modern shoes have like a half booty construction tongue, which keeps the tongue in place, and also you don't have that problem with the tongue flipping over on itself, right? But anyways, there's the tongue there. And also for the ankle area, we have a very minimal amount of padding on the sides of the shoe, right? Where your ankle bone is. I guess like on top there is a little bit, but like it's pretty minimal. And then here in the back, especially where the pull tab is, we have a good amount of padding, which does feel nice, especially on the Achilles. So yeah, this doesn't do anything really, in my personal opinion. It's just for looks. So there is the upper there. I really do like how the upper feels, and I also really like the overall quality, especially for 120 bucks. And it reminds me a lot of the Crazy Light boots with the jacquard. I believe it was a 2017, right? And now moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size, right? And Nike, all of their shoes have been running short. So I've been going up half a size for all of their shoes. And also, like I said, Nike owns Converse, and I went up half a size for this shoe, and it fits me very, very well, right? So for length, my toes go very close to the edge of the shoe. I would say there is a little bit of length, right? Just a tiny bit, but it's not a huge deal. And it feels still very, very comfortable for the fit. Also here in the toe box, it is quite snug. And then for the width, I would say it's around normal to like slightly narrow. So overall, it's a quite a snug fit for me, and I really like it because I do like having a snug fit in my hoop shoes. So going up half size was perfect for me. If you want a pretty snug fit, I would suggest you go up half a size, or like most people go up half a size, right? If you go true to size, I feel like it'll be very, very snug, so just watch out for that. And if you have a wide foot, probably go up a full size, right? But for me, it fits me very well. It's also super easy to put on because this really, really high heel tab, right? So I do like the overall fit. And moving on to the support and lockdown. The support and lockdown feels like it's gonna be very good, especially for lateral containment. You can see all the lateral counters, right? So here in the forefoot, we have the rubber outsole coming up, and also the CX foam, right? I really do like this design. It looks great, but it also does come up to act as a sidewall here in the midfield, and also basically acts like an external heel counter. And also feels like there is a pretty like thin or softer type of plastic for the internal TPU heel counter, but it still feels like there is something there, right? So lateral containment feels like it's going to be good, and also we do have a tiny bit of an outrigger, just a little bit, right? Nothing crazy, but it does protrude out a little bit, as you guys can see. So lateral stability feels like it's going to be good as well, and I'm not really experiencing any type of heel slippage or anything like that. So overall, support and lockdown feels like it's going to be very good, right? And now moving on to the weight of the shoe, I feel like, I guess I'll do it with the shroud, right? So it is 12.1 ounces, which is quite light. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces, but without the lace cover, it's 11 ounces? Wait, how heavy is this thing? Oh, it's like 1 ounce, 1.1 ounces for this thing. So, dude, this is kind of heavy. What the heck? So this is a full ounce lighter. This is 11 ounces without the shroud, and obviously with the shroud, this is 12.1 ounces. That's crazy. So, yeah, if you want something a little bit lighter, obviously don't use this. And like I said, it's not functional. It doesn't really improve lockdown or anything right now. So, yeah, 11 ounces. That's very, very light. The average weight of my shoes, like I just said, is 12.5 ounces. So that's a lot lighter than average. This feels very minimal. It feels very comfortable as well because the upper is so soft. And hopefully it's a responsive shoe as well. You know, hopefully the traction is really good. And if it is, the shoe will probably be pretty dang nice. And now moving on to the aesthetics, I really like it. I feel like whoever designed it did a really, really good job. Honestly, I don't really mind the design of the upper, right? With this like poison dart frog thing going on, but I also really like the design, like here in the midsole, and the overall shoe silhouette looks great. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. But also, do you guys think this looks better, or do you guys think this looks better with the shroud? Right? But anyways, as far as my first impressions go, I'm actually quite impressed. I haven't really been liking Converse's hoop shoes lately, but I do like the Trilliants. These do feel pretty dang nice, and it feels more like it's centered or geared towards guards, you know, like something very, very lightweight, something very minimal, something very responsive, which of course I'm gonna like, you know, because I am a guard. So my first impressions are looking pretty good. It's just that the lace cover is just, I don't know why they put it there, you know what I mean? But anyways, that about concludes my first impressions look on the All-Star BB Trilliant CX. Again, if you guys do want to cop a, try to leave the link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.